Alright, since I'm waiting on parts, can't do nothing else to the 65. This 14 has a vibration, and it's at like 100 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. When I let off the gas, it does a pretty heavy vibration, and it vibrates such that I don't want to drive it on the interstate. So I put a balancer on the shaft, and that didn't work. And I changed the wheels back to stock that I know those have been over 130 and they didn't vibrate. So it's the rear end. So I'm gonna pull the rear end out again and see if I can't figure it out. I think it might be the preload, and I might have a bearing that's bad now. And I'm gonna look at the backlash because I only checked it in one spot, and I think I should check it in several. Okay, I got the drive shaft off, and got the drive shaft off and up on blocks on the exhaust so that it's out of the way. Got it up on jack stands, obviously, and the jack is backing me up. And then when I was under there messing with the shaft, I had these old tires underneath of the tires because of redundancy, you know. Don't want the darn thing falling on you and killing you. So that's how I do the drive shaft. Now I'm going to take the wheels off. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is take this bolt out right there. Right there, that bolt, and then that bolt down there right there. I'm going to take those two bolts out, and then this whole caliper is going to come off, and I'm going to get a wire and hang it right here. And then I'm going to take this bolt out and pull this out. Well, I'll probably do that before I hang it, but probably actually do that right now. And that'll get the calipers out of the way. And I'll do both sides. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take the shocks loose. And then take this sway bar off. Here and here, probably here first. And then right here, these two. I got the relocation kit so I could run 15-inch tires, and I had to grind right there a little bit on this to get it to actually clearance, because people say you can't get them the sway bar on with these drop links, but that's not true if you're willing to grind a little bit. So after I get the shocks off and these off, I can drop the rear end down and the springs will come right out. Okay, the calipers are off and hanging over here out of the way. And I'm gonna take that top bolt out on both sides and swing this arm down, and that should expose this shock bolt so that I can loosen it with an impact. I wired up the shock and pulled it out of the way. After a few times of doing this, you start doing stuff like that just to make your life a little easier and not fighting things, just like dropping this bar down to get to this bolt. The first time I didn't do that. I fought it and tried to stick my wrench in there around the shock and everything else. So anyway, now it's time to remove those two bolts. Alright, I got the sway bar out. It fell right out after I got the last two bolts out. Then I took this panhard bar bolt out. And now I'm going to drop the rear end and probably get that top link right there. Gonna get that next, and then see about whether I take the panhard bar off or not. I think I'll wind up getting the lower control arms and then the panhard bar. Kind of like this creeper. It's like laying down on the job the whole day. So that exposes that top link. Hung up on something, seems like. Nope. Just top link or something. Alright. The springs were tagged side down. Alright, I'm gonna put it in a good spot to get that top link. Alright, that top link bolt just kind of popped right out of there. I had to tap on it with a drift a little bit and it comes right out. Now I'm going to lower it down more. Now it's hanging up on the panhard bars. What's going on? Whoa, come right at me. All right, and I'll get those two out, and it's out. First thing I want to check is run out. You want to see if this gear is moving this way or that way. Oh, I went all the way around it, and I have in between 9 and 7, both of which is to motive standards. Well, I think 8, so the 9s excuse me, are a little high for motive, but they're low for Ford. I got motive gears though. I'm gonna run the paint again. I think that the pinion pressure might be not think the pinion load, bearing load, the preload might not be heavy enough. That's the only thing I can think of, which means taking this stupid pinion out again. I'm gonna paint it just to see. That seems to be okay. That seems to be okay too. The camera's seeing it very good. Okay. There's plenty of room there. It isn't bottoming out. It seems to be in the middle on both sides. That should be fine. So what did I learn from this? I think I need a crush sleeve. I think the spacer isn't making things right. I can't find a shim that makes it work. So I think I got 2 crush sleeves. I'm just gonna try a stupid crush sleeve and get it, and if I ever take it apart again, I don't know if I'll ever try a spacer again, but if I got to get rid of this vibration. So it's probably because of that, because the pinion's probably too loose or too tight. One of the two. It's probably too loose. Alright. If I turn it really slow, it stays around 3.5, almost 4. If I get it moving, it's a steady 1.5, going that fast. Isn't that weird? 1.5. Almost 2 when you go really fast. Now, when I go slow, it gets up to 3.5, 3. 3, 2.5. So I'm not sure what to think of that. Still a little play left. 1. I'm gonna look it up and see what it actually needs to be. It's just over 1 and almost 1.5 now. All right, so it said 0.9 to 1.5. And that's once I get it moving. Like if I stop though, if I stop it spikes until it starts to move again. Once it starts moving, stop, spike. Once it starts moving, it's a steady 1.5. So if I ignore the spike when it gets going, then it's right. It's all back together again, and I took another painting, and I'd say it looks really good. Now, a tip that I just figured out is if I take this bar here and I stick it in here and I put it up against one of these bolts, I can put a serious amount of resistance that I can still turn by hand under here, but it's a super good way to, and then I have to, after I get the bolt so far, then I have to stop and like go around the bolt and grab another bolt and then turn again. But that's one try, and I really cleared the paint off with just one shot. And a buddy of mine said that's about the most accurate way to do it. That's one turn. So they're both in the middle. I don't see any reason to change anything. They don't look too deep. There's still plenty of room there. They're not bottoming out. The backlash is almost 9 now. I'm almost all the way around. Well, I didn't go all the way around this time. I probably should, but the last time I went all the way around, they were 8s and 9s a lot, and then it dipped down to 7. That's still within the specs of the motive gear. Alright, reinstalling it. Shove it in like this. I'm gonna get the lower links first. Shove it over there until this lines up and get these lower links in. Alright, the lower links are in. Now I'm just gonna have to twist it up until it's standing up on its end and get the jack under it. It's hard to do it with one hand. Okay, I just folded it up until it is on the control arms, straight up and down. I'm going to slide the jack under it. Alright, the jack is under it. And I'm just going to jack it up until that top link can match. I had to pry it right here down to twist back a little bit, and then I had to push it that way, and now I got the link kind of matched up. Hopefully when I hit it, it doesn't try to fall. Looks like the rear end has to drop a little bit.
It's close. What's this side look like? Drop down a little more. That's kind of nice. I can see it on camera and run this jack. Right there. Okay. Put the bolt in. Okay. Okay, what's in the way? What way does it need to go? Oh, it's right there. It's like if I just bring my foot over to the jack and jack it up just a little bit. Right there. There it is. Alright. Just put the nut on it. Alright, that's kind of straight up and down, so I'm probably going to have to pull it back a little bit and go up a little bit. Up first so I can move my jack handle. Now, probably going to have to pull backwards on the jack. I'm gonna need 2 hands. Okay, I just let the jack down and I'm gonna jack it up from the front side a little bit. See what happens. Okay. Alright, that's going in the right direction. Let's try and twist. Oh. Crap. Brake shoes fell out. Gotta get that bar in over there. The Panhard bar. Okay, I gotta hold this in here. Run the jack with my foot and hope that comes together. Okay, it's So just keep going up. It was starting to get a moon there. Yeah. Bang it with the hammer a little. Alright, maybe get a drift and pull that over. Okay, now the bolt. Okay. Okay, now I just gotta sneak this up behind there and thread it in. Alright, that nut's on. Panhard bar's done. Now I can drop it back down and put the springs in. And I can get the jack underneath the pumpkin now. Okay. I'll grab the springs. Make sure these are still on there. And the ones up in the fender are still there. And we're sticker down. I think it does matter. Needs to go up a little more, I guess. Find the other spring. There it is. Get this back on there. Pull that down. Camera hand. There. Okay. Get the other side. Alright. Make sure that little dick is in there right. And now I can put the sway bar on.
All right, so that's how far out I want the tire to be. And centered there. There'll be plenty of room. This is a 27.5-inch tire, by the way. And I still have plenty of room to come down, but I want to be able to keep this lip. Since we're going through this much trouble, just keep that lip. I might be able to go in a little bit more. with it. And so that's how far out it'll be when I have it on there, when I have it right. And then this tire is all the way in as far as I want it to be. So when you look at it, it looks staggered because the one wheel's in. Well, that's because these are only 10-inch tires, and I want to get 15-inch rims and 15-inch tires. So that's how much room is there when it's pushed in as far as I want it to be. And that's how much room I got. I got like three or so inches or there. I could get some pretty wide tires on there and get the right wheels. So if I can get an accurate measurement, once I get these where I want them. See, I don't know, I almost have to have the wheels. So just to know how to build the rear end. And these are off of my 14 Mustang.